of Taiwan? I'm Eric Gao with news for you on a chilly Saturday evening here in Taipei. One of Taiwan's largest civil defense groups is holding a class on what to do in the event of a missile strike. Our reporter Jaime Ocon went to see what participants learned.
What do you do in the event of a missile attack? Well, that's exactly what these people are training to do in this park in Taipei. Over 100 people are taking part in this civil missile defense exercise, which teaches citizens how to find shelter, how to care for the wounded, basically how to survive. These classes are held roughly once a month all around Taiwan. Now, some focus on civil defense and first aid, and others on combating disinformation. One of the participants, Miss Lin, explains that even beyond war, the class is helpful for other emergencies.
因为就算不是讲战争，有时候你只是有一个，比如说我们在地震带，那你有一些大型的灾害发生的时候，你还是要知道怎么样找避难所啊，然后跟你的同伴联络，或是到你可以安全的地方去。然后我觉得这些讯息蛮需要练习的。
Now, the organizers of this drill is the Kuma Academy. They're one of Taiwan's largest civil defense groups. The academy wants to train at least 3 million out of Taiwan's 23 million population how to respond to a crisis such as war. Classes like these have gotten more popular since Russia invaded Ukraine back in 2022, as Taiwan faces a similar threat from China, which often operates military aircraft and warships around the island to ultimately bring it under its control. Now, to be clear, the citizens here are not supposed to be trained to be on the front lines. It's more to give them a general sense of what they should do in the event of a crisis, as with more education comes better preparedness. Scott Huang and Jaime Ocon in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
13 Chinese warplanes have entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone, the most since the national elections. The Defense Ministry says those were among 33 planes, 2 balloons, and 6 Navy ships operating around Taiwan. That's one of the highest numbers in months. Taiwan's military says it closely monitored the intrusion. Taking Taiwan's strength in tech overseas has been a challenge. As the country looks to become more than just an exporter, education and industry leaders from the U.S. state of Arizona and from Taiwan are working to make the most of their growing partnership to support this transformation. Joyce Tseng reports.
Taiwan's undoubtedly a global leader in semiconductors, the chips that power everything digital. Its biggest chip maker, TSMC, makes over 90% of the most advanced ones here in Taiwan. But expanding that dominance overseas has been a challenge. That's why programs like this here are trying to solve that. It's a pioneering executive business course meant to set up Taiwanese businesses for global success. It's designed by a top-ranking American business school in Arizona and Stan Shi, the founder of Taiwanese computer giant Acer. She's no stranger to the multinational world and is also here to give a special lecture. He hopes next generation of entrepreneurs will keep elevating Taiwan's global brand.
Now, Taiwan have a good technology, especially in semiconductor. Of course, it's still a long way to go because we need more friends in various countries to help us to change our image and also co-create value for the local market.
Recreating a heavy tech industry overseas will take more than just highly skilled engineers and technicians. It will take a certain mindset, which is hard to teach and master. But with chips set to become a $1 trillion industry, leaders from both Arizona and Taiwan are banking on strengthening their partnership to secure a solid slice of that pie. Devin Tsai and Joyce Sin in Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Customers are rushing to get refunds from Taiwan's second biggest airline after pilots there announced plans to strike during the Lunar New Year holiday. Reese Ayers has more.
With less than 2 weeks to go until one of Taiwan's busiest travel periods, a planned pilot strike at EVA Air has customers changing plans and scrambling for refunds.
我就是来改票的，就是想说安全嘛，不要到时候在那边一直等7上8下的。
对普遍一般旅客来讲，都会担心这个问题。顾虑是因为他们家时段比较好，对，所以还是没有办法。
Taiwan's Transport Ministry predicts that a strike over Lunar New Year could disrupt 15,000 travellers a day. And with long-haul flights from Europe and North America being affected, that could leave many Taiwanese hoping to get home to their families stranded abroad.
飞不出去的话，第14条我们就以那个收取行政规费跟一些必要的费用，可能是住宿的费用、餐食、交通，然后机票是全额退费。 如果是像滞留在外站的话，我们就妥善在外站先安排好住宿，然后尽量做回程的处理。
The union also announced a strike for Tomb Sweeping Festival in March, another major holiday in Taiwan. For months now, union pilots and EVA have locked horns over safety regulations and pay, and there's slim hope that a deal can be reached before the Lunar New Year.
其实工会他们是希望20%了哈，这个部分现在很难达到共识。的确，在这次的劳资双方的态度都比较强硬哈，所以的确在这个沟通想要达成共识的这个过程哈比较辛苦。
Solo travellers have already begun asking for refunds, though group passengers are unable to apply until official notice of the strike is given, as the union has currently only announced plans to strike.
这样子的一个预告等于是没预告一样，因为它的预告的时间相当长，这样的还是呢让这个消费者呢和旅客呢是真的很难去做一个因应的措施啊。
The pilots' union have said they'll provide at least 24 hours notice before any strike begins. But many travellers are opting to play it safe and getting their refund requests in early. Andy Shi and Rhi says for TaiwanPlus.
2 centers employing people with disabilities are set for an eco-friendly makeover. As John Van Trieste reports, this project is designed to give workers a more comfortable, modern workplace.
It's a busy day for Li Chunfeng. He's packing up bread and helping customers at the bakery where he's worked for 10 years. Like many of his colleagues, Li has disabilities, in his case limited vision and cognitive impairment. They're all able and eager to work.
扫地拖地。
你喜欢这里的工作吗？
喜欢。
Li's employer, the Yucheng Social Welfare Foundation, runs 5 different businesses, giving 350 people with disabilities a living and a community.
他们在这里也是有跟同事们相处，所以他们也会有增进他们的人际社交的部分。
But there's a problem. 2 of these businesses are in old buildings that are falling into disrepair. Flooding is a particular issue. The foundation has a plan. It's going to refurbish some of its operations, including a car wash service. The new facilities won't just look nice, they'll be built with green engineering, cutting carbon emissions. The projects plan to be ready for business in 2025.
我们的庇护员工跟我们的10万人次的市民呢，每天都在这里密切的接触，这是一个社会多元、包容、共融的一个非常美丽的景象。
It's not just employment that's the goal, it's dignified and equal employment, where it's a person's work and not their physical or mental condition that counts. Leon Lian and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Last July, TaiwanPlus reported on the case of Katie He and her British husband, Michael Boyden. He is severely disabled, but was denied help from Taiwan authorities. Louise Watt reports on how there's now some good news for the couple.
After 4 years of fighting, a win. Taipei resident Katie Ho is picking up a certificate of disability for her British husband. He, Michael Boyden, is bedridden and needs constant care. But as a foreigner, he's been denied disability benefits here, until now.
I'm very happy for Michael because he really pioneered and opened up the path for the people to follow up. And I wish from the bottom of my heart, people don't need to use it, don't need to. But if they need, then there's a path is opening up.
Boyden has lived in Taiwan for more than 30 years and was diagnosed with atypical Parkinsonism 4 years ago. His case was one highlighted by campaigners pushing for disability rights for foreigners. They've won a change in the rules. British, Canadian and US citizens residing in Taiwan are now eligible to apply for a disability certificate, which opens the door to subsidized medical care and equipment and respite help for carers. Taiwan's Health and Welfare Ministry says disability benefits are being granted to these foreign nationals as their countries offer the same to Taiwanese living there. But this isn't the end of the issue. Campaigners here say they will keep fighting so all foreigners in Taiwan with disabilities can claim equal treatment. And not stopping there, they also want to find a way to make it easier to get Taiwanese citizenship. Taiwan recognizes dual nationality for its own people, but foreigners are required to renounce their original citizenship should they want to become Taiwanese. Campaigners say this is unfair and makes it harder for Taiwan to attract and retain the international talent it seeks.
The question is, why should people come to Taiwan, not as just tourists or just passerbyers, but why should they choose to invest in Taiwan for the long term? Without a citizenship pathway, you're always going to be treated as pretty much a second-class citizen. You're going to be a resident, you're a foreigner.
While citizenship is a longer-term goal, campaigners say there's a more urgent need for Taiwan to recognize all foreigners with disabilities. Sympathetic legislators plan to push this issue in the upcoming new session, giving hope to other foreign residents who have become part of Taiwanese society and yet are struggling to get the help they need. Klein Wong and Louise Watt for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's Education Ministry is encouraging universities to allow students to take psychological leave as more young people experience mental health issues.
自己感觉校长有时候也很需要心理调试，所以我可以理解到这个重要性，非常重要。
39 universities across Taiwan introduced 3 to 5 days of psychological leave last year, with 4 more expected to follow suit next semester. While the ministry says it won't force universities to introduce the new leave, it will provide guidelines for schools that want to. School in the eastern county of Yilan is building new ways of preserving local indigenous culture. Rick Lau reports.
There's a new lesson to be learned at this school in eastern Taiwan's Yilan County. The playground now includes a traditional dwelling built by the local indigenous Dian group.
看到很多现在没看到的东西，学习那个以前人他做家务有用到什么智慧。
It's part of efforts to preserve the building techniques of the Dian people. Taiwan is home to some 600,000 indigenous people, 3% of the country's population. Languages and traditional ways of life are at risk of disappearing, making it important to educate the next generation.
有一个家屋在这边，当做我们一个泰雅文化学习的一个很重要的一个教学场域。
Elders also hope to impart practical, sustainable knowledge that can help residents here as Taiwan's weather becomes more extreme.
它优势是，冬天的话是比较不会怕冷了，不会说很冷。夏天的话就比较也不会热。
Passing on traditional skills and knowledge for the next generation is important for the Dian people, something they know must be built on a strong foundation. Patrick Chen and Rick Lowett for TaiwanPlus.
Ahead of Lunar New Year, seniors from all over Taiwan have gathered for a special feast just for them. Tiffany Wong reports.
New Year, new friends. Nearly 300 seniors from around Taiwan gathered in Taipei for an early Lunar New Year celebration.
我们老了，没有什么那个活动嘛，看看走一走看看，看看这个外面怎么样。
因为我们在乡下，一来这边看到这个大都市里，看这个世面，很高兴啊。
我们这个有这个活动，我才有上来，因为脚不方便。
Many of the people here have some situation that may make it difficult for them to socialize regularly. They might be from remote areas or low-income households. Some experience cognitive issues related to age. But charity group the Federation for the Welfare of the Elderly says that shouldn't stop them from keeping holiday traditions alive, especially the tradition of coming together.
围炉是一个年节的关心，第二个就是不管他独居，不管他失智会走失，不管他是没有家属，甚至是有家属都不在身边，自己被关在5层楼的公寓，他依然是要被我们关心的。
As Taiwan becomes a super-age society, many older people find themselves navigating life alone. But events like this remind them that there are still people who care, preserving the spirit of the family holiday. Justin Wu and Tiffany Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for joining us for What's Up Taiwan. And before we go, check out the latest in canine couture at this pet gala show in New York. I'm Rick Gao. Stay warm and enjoy the rest of your weekend.